A very good Tuesday morning to everyone out there. Landon here with you to bring you your latest weather and night forecast courtesy of On Target. We're finally getting a little reprieve from the action in the winter weather mess that we've been dealing with here over the past 48 to 72 hours. But all eyes are focusing on a little bit later in this week whenever we could have yet another round of winter weather shenanigans set to impact the region. More on that here in just a few minutes. First and foremost, we're getting started underneath thick cloud cover out there. We got stratus deck that's layered up across the Wobbles community and beyond. You can see that looking here at the latest surface map that's overlaid with our satellite. We can jump over and get a look across the region. Travel has drastically improved. White Squirrel Weather Nest Cam looking over Nashville Road. Things seem to be moving at a rather fine manner early this morning here in and around the Bowling Green community. Still got a few surrounding school systems that are closed, particularly across the northern part of the region. But outside of that, folks, travel has drastically improved with the let-up of the wintry precipitation yesterday afternoon and throughout the overnight hours. Beechtree News Skycam overlooking Morgantown. Still got some scattered snow there covering the roof. You can see it over there on the church on the right-hand side of the screen. We can jog up north to Brownsville where the heaviest snowfall and ice was received here over the past event. Still looking like a winter wonderland overlooking Brownsville, courtesy of the Reed Dossie House Skycam. Temperatures have remain below freezing, folks. We've been talking about the cold that's getting locked in here, and it's going to stay here pretty much all the way through the end of the week. With the cold being locked in here, folks, that's why we are keeping our eyes on our next weather maker that's going to be rolling in here Friday on into the early part of our weekend as well. Temperatures hanging out anywhere between the mid and upper 20s. Folks, we're not going to see much change at all with these readings. We're going to have a light northerly wind component that's going to be sticking around today. I think real-time readings will be hanging out right around the mid and upper 20s throughout the entirety of the day. And of course, you can see here, looking at the wind chills, we've got a few teens popping up down here in Allen County, over into Simpson County as well. Here's a look at the surface map, folks. Severe clear, nothing ongoing, with high pressure trying to nose in here out of the north and west. It is keeping those winds out of the same direction. We can give you here in the short term what we're looking at in regards to cloud cover. It looks like we're going to be hanging tough with the stratus deck, at least throughout a portion of the day. We might get some breaks of sunshine in here this morning, as you can see through the mid-morning time frame. But then we get the stratus deck that tries to work back in here out of the north and west. It looks to hang around, not just throughout today, folks, but we get into our Wednesday, a few more breaks of sunshine, but it's worth mentioning. Get a little bit of moisture that's showing up within a few soundings here across the region. We might even squeeze out a few light snowflakes here and there throughout our Wednesday time frame, but we're not worried about anything significant coming along with this time frame. And by the time we work into Wednesday evening, we should see a drastic clearing of the skies. Despite sunshine coming back into the fold on Thursday, folks, it is going to remain frigid, and that is going to set us up for our next weather maker. Take a look at the temperature profiles throughout the day, folks. We do not escape where the current readings are throughout the entirety of this Tuesday, and then we work throughout our Wednesday. Highs once again pegged somewhere around the low and mid-20s region-wide, and then we work into sunrise on Thursday, folks, underneath clearing skies. We might have a few single digits to try to infiltrate the region here out of the north as we do so. Now let's jump over to the million-dollar question, what everyone's wanting to talk about. That is the opportunity at yet another winter weather maker right here on the horizon for us. Keep your eyes down across the deep south in Mexico with this pinwheeling deepening upper level low pressure system, all right? This thing is going to be churning and burning down there, gathering up some deep moisture off of the Gulf of Mexico. Here we are working throughout our Thursday morning. Then we work into Thursday night. And folks, you can see these weather makers attempting to phase here with the northern stream diving in here, linking up with all this available moisture down here across the south. This is obviously an equation for this time of year to create some wintry weather somewhere across the U.S. mainland, with a particular track that we've seen here on our global models, including the Euro model and the GFS. Take a look at how this thing is going to progress. Here we are working throughout the pre-dawn hours of our Friday morning. We got this deepening low shoving up all of that moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico. As what we previously saw, folks, with the last weather maker, you bring all of that warm, moist air, you take it over the warm front, you dump it over the sub-freezing layer of air located where the cold conveyor belt is off to the north and west side of the low and associated warm front. This is where the winter weather unfolds. And we're going to put this into motion, folks. This is the GFS model. But look at this thing skirt due off to the north and the east with that Gulf low riding across the deep south and then pinwheeling north and east right along and up the east coast. Obviously, this is bullseye right across middle Tennessee up into southern Kentucky, over across western Tennessee as well. And then that thing cuts off to the north and east as that low pressure system attempts to ride right along the spine of the Appalachian Mountains as we work through our Friday night, and finally exits the region off to our east by Saturday afternoon. This is where we're keeping our eyes on, folks, as early as Friday afternoon, taking us all the way through at least midday, if not early afternoon on Saturday. This is when we're going to watch for the potential for another winter weather maker. The good news is right now with what models are showcasing, it looks like all this precipitation will be snow, and we're not going to have any ice to deal with. Continue to cross your fingers that guidance continues to play out a similar scenario. We are looking at the ensemble here that is showcasing the medium range with the Euro of what we are expecting as far as probabilities of seeing at least 1 inch of snowfall throughout this time frame. All right, here we are working throughout the pre-dawn hours of our Friday. Here we are looking at sunrise on Friday, and then by lunchtime, folks, we could be getting the start of the wintry precipitation if models hold with this current pattern. And then you'll note here, folks, we're going to maximize the snow amounts as we work throughout our Friday afternoon, on into our Friday evening, and all the way into our Saturday morning. We are being given a 60 to 70% probability of receiving at least 1 inch of snowfall on this, folks. And it's worth mentioning, some models are spitting out copious amounts of snowfall. Now, we can't put exact grids on here on exactly what we're going to receive, but folks, sometimes those low pressure systems will take a poleward jog is what we're accustomed to. So if we do see that poleward jog with this particular weather maker over the upcoming days, we could get in on the 80th to 90th percentile of seeing at least 1 inch of snowfall come to fruition right here across the Wobbles community, all right? Comparing that to where the freezing rain line is going to set up, you all will be very grateful to know. You can see here, this is pressed well down south of the region as this weather maker moves through. We look to have the below freezing temperatures locked in here throughout the entirety of our temperature profiles throughout the atmosphere, and that is going to result in the predominant type of precipitation to be the nice fluffy snow. And that's what we like to see, and we want to stay away from the ice for obvious reasons. We can jump over here, folks. This is the national blend of models from the National Weather Service. This is where you take all of our guidance and you kind of blend it together on kind of a consensus of what it's putting out there. Take these values with a grain of salt, folks. We're still 72 hours out from this, but the national blend of models brings a nice little healthy coating of snow up in here. Anywhere up on the magnitude between 2 to 4 inches of the white fluffy goodness that'll be on the ground. This will be perfect for sledding, folks. If you're a snow lover like me, keep your fingers crossed. We want this one to come to fruition, as it could be a beautiful snowmaker as long as guidance is able to hold. Now, folks, we still got a few question marks out of it here, but we want to show you one thing that we are watching, and that is at least a 1/4 inch of liquid equivalent of snow to sleet. Basically, to get a significant amount of snow on the ground, you want to have the availability of the obviously moisture and liquid equivalent within the atmosphere. And we've got that, folks. Southern Kentucky looks to be the bullseye for the heaviest snowfall with this particular weather maker, where guidance currently shows. We'll obviously be watching things like a hawk here over the upcoming days to make for sure, then see if model guidance remains on track with this system. Folks, both the Euro and the GFS has been on board with this thing for the past several days. So currently we are liking our chances, all right? We still got a few question marks as portrayed here by this great image produced by our local National Weather Service office. What we do know, potential for another round of wintry weather into southern Indiana, but more importantly, central and southern Kentucky. What is the uncertainty that remains? The exact track of that storm system. Folks, anytime we get the northern stream trying to phase with the southern stream, it gets rather messy and complicated. And we're obviously still questioning how much precipitation is actually going to fall. You can note here with the potential for snow right there on the map and the track of the low pressure system, any alteration, folks, in that grid off to the north and west or off to the south and east could cause a drastic change in what we're going to see here in regards to wintry precipitation, but just know that the signal is definitely there. Here's a full breakdown of your next 6-day weather forecast brought to you by Ohio Valley Insurance. Partly to mostly cloudy throughout today. Temperature is going to be hanging out near constant where they are already, right around the 30-degree mark. You still got some snow-covered roadways out there, folks, particularly across the rural locations. Be careful on your morning commute. We work into our Wednesday. It's going to stay frigid with partly cloudy skies remaining the name of the weather game. Highs right around freezing on Thursday with more sunshine. And then, folks, look at that. Sub-freezing yet again. Thursday night all the way through our Friday with scattered snow chances continuing on into our Friday night. Cloud cover hangs tough throughout the weekend, but we should finally edge above freezing. If not Saturday afternoon, definitely Sunday afternoon, with highs near the 40-degree mark. Friends, it's going to wrap up your Tuesday morning Whether or Not forecast brought to you by On Target. Our friends have been churning the midnight oil, helping out all of our community members here, moving some trees off of houses there yesterday, getting them all taken care of. If you need it, folks, see that number right there. Their emergency line is available 24/7. You all take care of yourselves and each other. Have a fantastic Tuesday.